collapse of CBEX, a cryptocurrency investment platform that promised huge returns, has left many Nigerian youths devastated. This incident has sparked national conversations around financial literacy, desperation for quick wealth, and the unchecked rise of digital money schemes. The crypto craze among youths has become a pressing concern, with many questioning whether platforms like CBEX are a path to wealth or a risky gamble. Now, the appeal of cryptocurrency investments among Nigerian youths can be attributed to the promise of high returns and the potential for quick wealth. Many young people are drawn to the idea of making significant profits with minimal effort, often without fully understanding the risks involved. And social media platforms, online forums, and word-of-mouth referrals have contributed to the widespread adoption of crypto investments among youths. This is Fafana Africa. I am Lekon Onobanjo. You're welcome. Now, let's put this in proper perspective. Financial desperation is another factor driving the crypto craze among youths. With limited job opportunities and a struggling economy, many young people seek alternative income sources. Cryptocurrency investments, with the promise of high returns, have become attractive for those seeking to improve their financial situation. Now, the rise of digital money schemes has also contributed to proliferation of scams in the crypto space. Platforms like CBEX, which promised unrealistic returns, have exploited unsuspecting investors, and the lack of regulation and oversight in crypto has created an environment conducive to scams and Ponzi schemes. This afternoon, I'm joined by Gabriel Adeyeye, who is a digital marketing expert. He joins me from London, UK, to talk about this. Thank you so much, Gabriel, for coming around.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Lekon, for the opportunity to be on this show today.
And you also have Stanley Fongod, who is the CEO of Croston Fintech. He's in California, USA. He also joins us to discuss this. Thank you so much, Stanley, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, sir. I really appreciate the show. I hope we have a productive conversation after this.
Definitely we will. So I start with Gabriel. What drives the appeal of crypto investments among Nigerian youths?
Some of the things that drives it is accessibility, one, and then the hype around it. And then because of the economic thing going on right now, the economic downturn going on right now, it is really making it something attractive to every youth to put in their money, to try and make money. And then they are they are seeing all their mates also making money, and then they are just trying to make money. So that is why a whole lot of people are trying to just make money in any way. And crypto and this CBEX and similar fashion thing, similar platforms like it are making headway in Nigeria.
All right, now, Stanley, you're a tech expert. Let's understand this. It's been said that crypto market is like forex trading or maybe buying stocks, that it is very, very unstable. Help us understand how true that is.
Well, the reality is that, by the way, with my voice and stuff, it's quite early in Los Angeles. The reality is that if you look at the crypto market, a lot of folks who get into the crypto market has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Cryptocurrency is actually currency in digital format. And so if you do not have that basic concept as to what it is, anybody has the capacity to sell you anything and you will be willing to buy just because of this utopia that is promised that something fantastic will come as a result of huge returns, which is always not true. So there has to be a lot of literacy, especially in this space. And it's not that cryptocurrency is bad. It is just that there's a lot of misinformation. And as a result of that, a lot of people are actually in this circle who are basically just the scamming people left in, left out. The problem with that, I say, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, if you look at countries like Nigeria, Cameroon, Kenya, Ghana. A lot of folks are falling victims into a lot of schemes like that of CBEX. And the reason for that is because they have absolutely no idea what they're getting into. And there is this thing on the African continent, which I think that you probably might trace that back to, most of our Pentecostal churches, which is the idea that you can do quite little as much as just pray and then things do happen. There has to be a lot of conversations as to what cryptocurrency is. There has to be a lot of conversations into entrepreneurship, into the market. We have to be able to open up the minds of our young people to understand fully what this is, not just the hype behind it.
Okay, I understand. We're still going to talk more about financial literacy. But then I want us to look at it from the angle of what cryptocurrency or cryptoverse is for itself. And I'll still put the question to Gabriel. Let's have a critical understanding. Is it a riskier venture compared to maybe investing in Forex and stocks? What are the guarantees or the risks?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Mr. Lekon. And the thing about crypto is new. It is not like Forex and stocks. So all the three of them, crypto, stock, and the other one, they all have risk associated with them. But the thing is, each of them, if you are putting money into it, you have to understand that you can lose your money in any one of them. Though crypto is new and then is what the hype is all about. People are still doing stock till now. People are still doing Forex till now. I have experience with trading a bit of stock, a bit of Forex, and a bit of crypto also. And what I would advise anybody is, if you are trading any of these things, it is what you've made out of a business, you put into this business. You don't make it your main thing. You don't make it the main source of income. And that is what a lot of Nigerians and a lot of youth are trying to do. They try to make crypto the main thing they get money out of. Whereas you should have something providing that funds for you, a digital skills or something like that. But our people are not getting this thing right. They feel like, okay, because crypto can make you a millionaire today or a billionaire today just by trading it within few hours or whatever. Because if you buy some shit coins, you can get over 200-300%, and then you've made a lot of money. And you're surprised. And so people still bought Trump coin and they're able to make money. People that went in very early and came out very fast also are going to make money. So that is it. You have to, the main thing is all about financial literacy. Understanding when to go in, when to go out. But at the end of everything, I will still advise that my own main advice about all this is, anyone you're trading, either crypto, either Forex, either stock, get the knowledge about it very well first. And don't make it the main dish, make it the side dish.
Interesting. Now, Stanley, let's bring you into this. I mean, how can you differentiate between legitimate crypto investments and scams? You've said that it's not a bad thing, but then the fact that people are not literate enough to understand the scope or the modus operandi of how crypto works is the problem. So how do you identify a platform that trades, legitimately, and the ones that are just there to scam people?
So if you look at what CBEX was actually doing, CBEX came in as an exchange platform that was basically used for trading, utilizing artificial intelligence, AI. And so they basically scam a lot of people, telling them that they could be able to give them 100% in 30 days. All right. So you have 100% gain in 30 days. Let's put that into perspective. If you look at the S&P 500, which basically is the mother lode of all trading platforms in America for stocks and everything else in between, that is probably a valuation, a market cap of about 54 trillion, as a matter of fact, 54 trillion US dollars. The question becomes, they are only able to guarantee probably about 8 to 11%, or 8 to 10%, maybe, per annum. But yet you have someone who is guaranteeing 100%. That's a scam. There's no way, even if you're selling drugs, there's no way you're going to be able to talk about having 100%, in a very short space of time, as low as 30 days. One of the best trading person I know in the world is a guy called Warren Buffett. I mean, one of the richest person that we all know. The reason why Warren Buffett is as good as he is because, he makes in his trading, he makes close to about 18 to 20% per year. And that is incredible. All right. So any other thing about artificial intelligence, helping in terms of trade has really not worked. It has not been the thing. So the reality is this, that if you see a platform that guarantees you 100% on investment, 100% return, that is a telltale sign of a scam. The only thing better than that would be miracle money. Maybe you need to call one of these pastors with miracle money to pray for you, because with that, which there is no way you can be talking about 100% in 30 days. That is a little bit of an overstretch.
Now that Stanley has talked about CBEX, Gabriel, having lost millions of naira to previous scams, Nigerians still fell victim to these, CBEX platforms, so to speak. Would you call it a gullibility on display?
What I would call it is greed, because these platforms are tapping into their greed, the greed of everybody, and everybody wants to make more money. I want to make more money. But if you want to make more money without putting in the work, then you fall victim. You are going to fall victim of scams like this. So these platforms are tapping into the greed. Everybody has greediness in them, one way or the other. But then we have the threshold of, I think another thing is the kind of risk we all can take. Some people that fall victim to MMM, fell victim to maybe Racksterly, fell victim of CBEX also. And then the greed that makes it the worst is because most people, even when they get in, they have ample time to get out with their money, or even with a little bit of profit. But because they want to make more, I heard of someone that had a lot of money in CBEX, then waited for maybe a month or two, like millions of naira now, and the person introduced someone else into it also. They didn't take out their investment, they didn't take out their profit. CBEX has crashed now. They've lost everything. So now, that kind of person doesn't have financial discipline, and then greed is also something affecting them a whole lot. So that's why people need to read a whole lot more. There are books about financial discipline, financial literacy. Psychology of Money is a book regarding managing money and managing greed.
But even those that have actually read and are equally literate in financial decision-making process, they also lose money at some point. They also incur losses. So what's the guarantee?
Yeah, yes, nothing is guaranteed in this life. Nothing is guaranteed. You can go out, fall victim of an accident, and you die. But the main thing is, all these platforms like CBEX now, they are telltale signs for you to know that this thing is not something you should trust. My partner right now on this TV segment also mentioned something about yielding unrealistic returns. And that is one of the signs that you can see, because these CBEX platform and all that use some of these digital marketing techniques that people fall into, social proof, putting up scarcity, telling them put in money now, before 30 days you get your money and all that. And then a whole lot of people are feeling like, oh, if I don't get it now, I'll be the only one left out. So people need to recognize that the impossibility in all these things, there are impossibility in making money. If you put money in, like me now, I do a little bit of money market. If you put money in money markets, there is a certain return you can get. You can't get higher than a certain return. If you put money in treasury bill also, there's a certain return you can also get. But a lot of people will want to get that quick money without just going through the time, without doing the work. So we need to move towards the time where we take our digital skills very important, and not just rely on this quick money. We put money into crypto, it pours out a lot of money. We need to move towards that place. There are a lot of skills. A lot of people in Nigeria are making millions of naira every day from the comfort of their house. But a lot of people are not ready to learn all these skills that will help them. You can create physical product that will keep paying you every month. A lot of people are not doing these things, and that is why they're having and they're falling victims. Because most times you fall victim into this when you feel like you don't have enough. So let me double this thing. And this same thing also moves into people that play sports betting. Let me double this money. When if I double it, then I'll get more. And I was seeing a Twitter post today about don't just giving a lady some money and all that. And people were suggesting to the lady that, okay, there's something called 2 odds. You can double that money. So if that kind of person saw CBEX platform too, that kind of person might or can be advised to put the money there and double it to maybe 12 million or something. So we need to work on that.
So that calls to question issue around probably social media pressure or peer pressure or, media influence, so to speak. I mean, Stanley, I understand we're in an era where the Gen Z, so to speak, want to do less and earn more. I don't know if there's anything wrong in having to spot a business opportunity that requires that I do less, but then it pays me more. Some people say, oh, that's being cerebral, that's smart work. Is there anything bad in that?
Please, Mr. Akon, I would probably like to, just do a quarterback just a little bit, especially into CBEX. Before I answer your question, please. The reason for that is because I'm not quite comfortable with the idea that we get into a market, we get into a company like CBEX or M&M or whichever company it is, and then we exit quickly on the premise that we're not going to lose our money because we have this innate consciousness that it will eventually collapse. The problem is that everyone, including everyone, I mean like every single human being in Nigeria, in Kenya, that profited from CBEX before its collapse was part of the scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. These are men who obviously has an agenda. The agenda is very simple. They will build this structure up. They will invite people to bring people in, and then they will pay out, all right, initially. They will give out all of these payments. A day will come when the intake of the money they're getting from everybody who is investing into the system is no longer equal to the money that is leaving the system. And they will also encourage a lot of people not to take out money because they have this thing, in there that tells them how much money they're actually making, and it's nothing else but just a digital scam. In the end, once the money they're receiving is no longer equal to the amount of money they're pushing out, or if they discover that there's now a wash, guess what they do? They pull the plug on the system and then everything goes down. We have to be able to understand that what a Ponzi scheme is, okay, and basically fight these things before they start. The idea that we can be able to get into anything, I don't care what that currency is, any digital asset, I don't care what it is, and when we fully know that this thing is going to collapse, and the idea is we can get in and then get out, I think that that's a disservice to the the literature that we need to be able to espouse so far as cryptocurrency is concerned. I speak as one who basically owns a blockchain platform myself. I own a cryptocurrency that is 100% backed by gold. And the reason for that is we are a long-term. You buy, you hold, long-term. And because there's just no way out of it. If you are trying to create a Ponzi scheme, that's when you start giving people unrealistic returns. There's nothing like that. And concerning young people, we need to be able to just incentivize young folks to fully understand what cryptocurrency is in the first place. It's money in digital format, decentralized, which gives you the access to be able to trade with somebody across the world and do businesses with. That means primarily it's not, cryptocurrency has been used more like a forex trading platform where we trade currencies. That's where we are, and that's why the scam is the way it is. Cryptocurrency is actually meant primarily for you to either hold it as a store of value, which for now it is not possible because it is extremely volatile, and you have to probably use cryptocurrency more for what it was actually intended for, which was for trading. Do you have a product? You have some value that you're trying to exchange? Then use cryptocurrency if you are in a space where it's not easy for you to do transactions using our monetary systems. That's what cryptocurrency is. But the idea that we just have to be able to talk about getting in and then, hoping that when we have gotten as much money as we can, then we put it out. That's why the scamming continues to take place. And I think that the Security Exchange Commission in Nigeria basically dropped the ball on this, and it's quite shameful.
All right, Gabriel, now, some people have actually argued and said, probably let's just say made excuses for this, saying that some people, are pushed into this crypto frenzy, so to speak, due to the harsh economic reality that they are faced with. Some people have actually attributed it to poverty and the fact that some of these schemes are not actually presented as though they are Ponzi's. For instance, maybe some sort of social media promotion, so to speak, or having to do some kind of, you invest a particular amount of money and probably in a month you're expecting a particular return, not necessarily 100%. So it doesn't appear, the interface doesn't appear as though it's a Ponzi or it's a scam. Would you attribute or align with this kind of excuse being given as to the reason why people would venture into such?
Yeah, I want us to understand something, and that is that a lot of people in Nigeria that go into crypto, they are young, they don't understand the internet like we the tech people understand it. We can see the signs, they can't see the signs. Most of them, some of them might be secondary school dropout. They don't really know much about the internet. They just want to make money. They want to copy their friend that is doing oblate up around, So one thing is there are signs all around this thing. And that is why if you want to make any investment into anything, it's better you make your research, like very good research about it. I was watching an expose on CBEX where someone was able to look at the company that registered them and then the secretary company that's registered them and then linking it back to the CEO or founder of CBEX. Like if you're investing into something, you should be able to know who is the founder of this thing. What is the antecedent of that person, the history and all that? You should make those research. And there's one thing we do a whole lot. Like it's everybody does this thing. Or most people, let me say most people, so I don't generalize. A whole lot of people feel like my friend is doing it, and your friend will come to you and say, oh, and then there is maybe the compulsion of if you bring somebody, there is something you get. So this makes people to convince other people to bring more people because they know from their downline or whatever they call it, they get something out of it. So there are a lot of signs on this platform, and if you can't see the signs and you want to invest into this platform, it's better you take it to someone that is that stays more online or someone in that industry that can explain it the more, or someone that doesn't have anything to gain from you joining it, and that person will be able to explain it to the more to you. Because some of these scams, when they advertise it, at the end of everything, it will be a digital marketer that will also advertise it. And when this person is doing it, the person will also use all these marketing tricks. But we, as someone in the industry, we can understand that, oh, something about this looks fishy. Something about this looks fishy. Why crypto has many uses? Part of the uses is daily use, take it out, bring it in and all that. We can't compare this CBEX and talking about an exchange platform like Bitcoin and other things. Similar things like this has also happened in Forex. A lot of people, there are some platforms that tell you our Forex platform is being managed by AI, same thing like that. We have 99% success rate, we trade, put your money with us, you get 30% every month and all that. And lots of these things still crashes at the end. So at the end of everything, we need to do our research before we put our money into it. People need to do more research about it, and that's why there's software coming out soon that this software will help you in bridging the gap between businesses and customers and the reviews they put out. Because Google reviews might help, Trustpilot might help. Even when you search on other platforms, you see forums, because a lot of people are paying different platforms, doing PR and all these things. And that is why it is good for you to do very, very deep research into what you're investing into. Because when your money enters, it might not come out again. And you've worked hard for that money. So as not to lose it, you need to do more research and ask people that are in that space for you to do it well.
All right, now Stanley, whether or not crypto platforms are legit or illegitimate, what are the long-term implications of the crypto craze for Nigerian youths? Would you say, when you weigh it on the balance, is it looking good or we should be worried?
I think that we need to get the Security Exchange Commission a little bit more into issues concerning cryptocurrency in Nigeria. And the reason for that is because then they should be able to have a lot of skill sets on board that will help mitigate situations like the one that CBEX, has just put a lot of Nigerians through. The market will have to decide exactly what happens in Nigeria going forward so far as cryptocurrency is concerned. But the reality is that whether we like it or not, cryptocurrency is here to stay, just like like I said, it's a medium of exchange. It's currency. It's like the naira. It's like the dollar. Once we come into that consciousness that we can actually use this for transactional purposes, then the whole entire craze about cryptocurrency will basically fizzle out. And then so we will become a little bit more conscious, especially when it comes to folks who show up and say, we can give you 100% return if you only do this, and not just 100% return, but if you actually brought in someone and then they brought in money, we'll probably give you a percentage of how much money they brought in. And so they now use that as a method of bringing in as much people as they can, recruiting a lot of victims into the platform. I think that the only way out of this, especially if we are trying to be able to incentivize young people to be a little bit more conscious about platforms like this, but also not to stay away or shy away from cryptocurrency, is to make sure that there is some form of an arbiter in the middle, which will obviously be the Securities Exchange Commission, that has to vet every single company that shows up in Nigeria and every individual, for that matter, that shows up in Nigeria and is talking about a particular cryptocurrency. We need to know origin. We need to have faces. We need to know people. You cannot have, almost 1 trillion, okay, in violation of a particular company, and nobody knows who the CEO is. Nobody knows. There are no faces. It's just people who are actually promoting. Who are you promoting for? Who contacted you? How did this thing get here in the first place? We need to know all of that, and that is where the Securities Exchange Commission comes in. I think that if that was going to be done, then it will now be easy for each and every one of us to be able to begin the conversations, with our young people as to what cryptocurrency is and what the use cases are, which is what we need to push in that space so that they too can be able to make, small investments and make small returns, which is quite legitimate. Maybe, 5% is good, 10% is good. I don't think there's any bank that's going to give you as much as that. S&P 500, just like I said, it's only about 8%. And yet you're talking about companies like Google, Apple, Samsung, you name it. All right. Tesla, you name it. So we need to have those conversations. But let us also put our foot on the fire and beg Securities Exchange Commission to do more than talk.
All right. Now that you've mentioned this, Gabriel, we have actually whipped and bashed, people who've actually committed their funds into such schemes without doing due diligence. But then we're talking about what they should do. But what about what they should have done? Gabriel, would you blame the regulatory bodies, either CAC, SEC, FCC, and all the regulatory bodies for failing to curb the platform's activities instead of just issuing advisories that they actually, came to announce that they've been talking about it, but people are not listening? Should that actually be the issue?
Well, the problem is this: crypto is a new thing. It is not like real money. Don't let me use that term. It is not like the dollar that can be tracked from one country easily to the other. This is crypto. It is meant to be untraceable. It is meant to leave as little digital trail as possible. So even the US is still grappling with the gravity of tracking all these transactions. It is not something very easy. So this is a platform that might not be hosted in Nigeria, because most of our websites in Nigeria are not even hosted in Nigeria in the first place. They're hosted outside the country. So you can't ask the Security Commission to ask for access to all this platform to check what is going on. And if you see how all the old money thing, if this thing is actually transferred to an account and all that, I think that was how it happened in MMM, I think, if I'm correct. It was peer-to-peer transfer. You transfer money to another person's account. So the fraud, and one thing we need to understand that all these people that are coming up with this fraud are also trying to get smarter, and they want to also get away with their loot. So we need to the government has a role to play in securing the citizens, but I don't know, but at the end of everything, my thing is, it is your money. The government's job is to only advise. The government job is to put out advisory and all that. They can just do the little they can do with tracking all these things, because the onus still lies on you to make the financial diligence you need to make about it. Yeah, the government might have dropped the ball a bit, and what we need to understand is CBEX is the one we know. There are other little scams that are going on that we won't know. It is because of the digits involved in this. That's why a lot of people are shouting about it. A lot of other scams are going on. How many thing, will our security agencies, the SEC, the FCC, how many will they be able to track? So that is why I'm always like, we need to really do more ourselves to protect ourselves because we understand where we are.
All right, I might just differ a little bit from what Gabriel has said. I mean, why do we have regulatory bodies if they cannot anticipate and intercept ventures that are likely to defraud people and make people lose their money? We're going to talk about it. We'll pick it from that particular angle and scale to other areas of the discussion. But then let's quickly go on a very short break, even as we continue to look at this issue. When we return, we'll dwell more on what can be done so that people can actually, let's just say, be safe and not lose their funds where they're trying to make more money. It's a big situation, and we need to talk about it more. We'll be back in a bit. On for Fanwa Africa, we've been talking about the obsession with crypto and CBEX. We're tying around CBEX, a digital platform that just recently collapsed, leading to the loss of about 1.3 trillion naira in Nigeria. Well, I've been discussing with Gabriel Adeyeye, who's a digital marketing expert from London in UK, and of course Stanley Fongod, who's the CEO of Croston Fintech. Of course, he's also a tech expert and is been talking to us from California in the United States of America. So, Stanley, we pick up the conversation from the point that Gabriel made. Number one is that crypto is meant to be untraceable. And he also said that governments, the role of governments is just to issue advisory. And I'm wondering, why would government agencies be established to regulate businesses and monitor their activities, and not be able to trace, anticipate, proactively deal with schemes or ventures and just issue advisory? Why were they established in the first place?
As to what kind of Security Exchange Commission we are having going forward. And I think that there's nothing we can do looking backwards. But the reality is that the Security Exchange Commission, as you rightly put, it's supposed to absolutely do everything that they can to look at the market, look at what is happening in the community, not just for fraudsters, in Nigeria, but to basically begin to understand something that is a little bit more broader and bigger, like CBEX. And one of the ways in which I think we should be able to do this is that we need to be able to employ, the tech sector in Nigeria. There is no reason why we should not be able to have a gigantic data center in Nigeria that will service the region. And also, as a result of that, we now mandate that if there's going to be any security, if there's going to be any exchange, crypto exchange like CBEX, they should be hosted in Nigeria. It's okay. If you're really trying to be able to do this, then come to Nigeria, host in Nigeria. If not, you are not permitted to operate in this space. And there are a series of ways in which we can be able to make sure that we enforce this, and everything works by IP. And there's a lot of ways in which we can be able to make sure that wherever these monies are going to, and whatever financial transactions that we are doing, certain IDs should not operate on people's cell phones, or ISP providers in Nigeria should be able to limit certain stuff, which is basically the big brother thing. But at some point in time, we have to give up certain rights in absolutely real protection. So there's a lot of conversation as to how much rights are we willing to give up so that we all stay safe and get our family members and brothers and sisters safe from this scam, vis-a-vis what levels of liberty are we also willing to have at the risk of having some other companies like CBEX. There are a lot more companies like CBEX that has come a whole lot money than CBEX. The Security Exchange Commission should not just be there for name, and there has to be
Gabriel, I mean, we're talking about regulation, we're talking about rights, we're talking about safe investment platforms. I mean, we're looking at it on a broader scope. What are the implications of this CBEX collapse for the crypto industry, not only in Nigeria, but then, in other climes?
This CBEX thing now is going to reduce the trust people have for crypto. it's going to reduce the adoption a bit, because a lot of people that have lost money in CBEX now will be wary of anything called crypto. You know, even before the adoption of crypto, already experiences with people are already having bad experiences with crypto. So even if you are going into crypto, we should do it with less hype. Go into things with less hype, things that are more transparent.
All right. Gabriel Adeyeye, a digital marketing expert, and of course, Stanley Fongod, CEO, Croston Fintech. Of course, you're an economist and a tech expert. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your thoughts with us on the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Eckhart. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, an entrepreneur, author, and financial educator, best known for his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, once said, "The lack of financial education leads to bad financial decisions." So at this point, you need to research, you need to read, you need to learn, you need to acquire the knowledge before you take that next financial step. I am Lekon Obanjo. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.